Greetings, my brethren. It is NBA Finals time. The Heat versus the Thunder. Who are you going for? First of all, let's talk about the Eastern Conference. They sucked. Let's be honest, there was not much competition in the East this year. Outside of the top two teams, it was anyone's games. Miami and the Bulls dominated all year long, as opposed to the West, where down to the last week of the season, you honestly had no idea who would make it or where they would place. There were like 9 teams in the Eastern Conference that had any chance of making the playoffs at all this year, as opposed to the Western Conference, where basically every single team except for the last 2 was in the fight down to the last month. And that's when people actually started getting eliminated. And now you've got the Heat beating the Celtics in 7 games, and the Thunder beating the Spurs. But it was a great series, and I'm going for the Thunder to win it all just because I want to say that we got beat by the best, and I honestly believe that we do. Many people predicted that the Western Conference Finals would be the real NBA championship, because the Thunder and the Spurs were basically the 2 best teams in the league right now. And it was a fierce competition. They fought the whole way. Even when they lost, the Thunder were in both of those games. And when the Spurs lost, for the most part, it was never too far away. We always had the chance to come away with it. We just couldn't finish them off. The Thunder, they're very young, very athletic group. They're very talented, and they have the potential to win it all, and I'd really like to see them. I'm actually a huge fan of Kevin Durant. Serge Ibaka is one of my favorite big men in the league right now. And Russell Westbrook is always an exciting player to watch. And honestly, I like them. I've been rooting for them all year long. It's just that, the Spurs are my team. Thunder versus Spurs, I'm always going to go with the Spurs. But if the Spurs are not involved at all, Thunder! Yeah, the Spurs are still my team, but since they are now out of contention, I am going with the Thunder to beat the Heat. Why? Well, many reasons. Because the East has not really been a competitive place, and yet still the Heat struggled to get here. I mean, Celtics actually forced a Game 7. And I'm not saying the Celtics are a bad team. They've got a lot of talent on that roster. It's just, and Rondo stepped up in new ways that I don't think even he imagined. And, I look forward to seeing the new look Celtics with Rondo leading the way. I mean, I've always talked bad about him because, well, sure, it's easy to get 20 assists a game when you're throwing it to guys like Pierce and Allen and Garnett. But then to come out in a playoff game and get 44 points, including the only 12 points of overtime to win a game, with a potential championship on the line. Yeah, he's a great player. And I look forward to seeing what they do next year and what kind of new rotations they bring. Because the Celtics are going to enter a new era, that old big 3, and I say the old big 3. And yes, I know I'm a Spurs fan. I shouldn't be joking like that. But still, I'm going to anyways. There are going to be some changes in Boston. And yes, Miami is great, and LeBron is a beast. He's one of my favorite players. LeBron and Kevin Durant are my 2 favorite players outside of the San Antonio Spurs. Of course, Duncan's my #1 favorite player ever in the history of basketball. But, of the currently active players in the league right now, outside of San Antonio, Kevin Durant and LeBron are my 2 favorites. I look forward to seeing them battle. And I'm going with the Heat. Well, let's look at 2 things. Well, one, they lost 1 game in round 1. They lost 2 games in round 2, and in round 3 they lost 3 games. And now we're in round 4, the finals. I wonder how much they're gonna win. I'm not a superstitious person, but if I was, you know who I bet on. And with the Thunder, they've played great all year long. They have played fantastic ball, and they're a very tough, young, athletic team. They've got that hunger, they've got the desire, they've got the energy. They are very hard to keep up with. I think they've got a lot more depth. In Miami, you've basically got LeBron. You've got LeBron, and if he's not doing well, you got to hope that Wade and Bosh start pulling their weight. But then after that, they basically got shit. I mean, yeah, Chalmers can hit three. Haslam can play hard in the paint. You know, Battier can make an impact, but you know, Harden comes off the bench and scores 30 points every night. Table Cephalosha, you know, he's a great defender, and I believe he can shut down Wade very easily. I look forward to seeing him, and because I know he's gonna at least frustrate Dwayne Wade into making a lot of mistakes. You know, and I don't think there's anyone on the Heat that can really contain Russell Westbrook, especially if he's going full-on excitement. And of course, Kevin Durant, we've seen throughout the year throughout the years how he can take over a game. And honestly, though, it can go either way, just because, you know, between LeBron and Durant, you know, both of those guys, you can put the ball in their hands to take that last shot, and you know they can sink it over three people. But I'm giving the ultimate advantage to the Thunder, because in this year's playoff run, the Thunder are undefeated at home, and they have home court advantage over the Heat. So the Thunder, they swept the first round. In the second round, they lost one game to LA, in LA. Second round, they lost 2 games in San Antonio. So yeah, they've lost three on the road. 3 out of Hold on. Yeah, they've lost 3 out of 9, 3 out of 7 on the road. But they've won 4 out of 7 on the road, and they've won every single home game. Oklahoma City is not an easy place to win, and I think the Thunder will maintain home court advantage against the Heat. Now, because it is LeBron, and because they do have Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh does seem to be healthy again, the Heat will definitely put up a fight. And I will not be shocked to see it go to Game 7, but I won't be shocked to see it end early either. I'm giving the advantage to the Thunder because they've protected their home court well all year long, and especially here in the playoffs. Let me know what you think. Until then, I'll be sitting here eating pizza. Game time tomorrow. You gonna be watching? I know I will be. My face is gonna be glued to that TV screen. Peace.